Y'all already know. Y'all already know that the Battlefield 2042 beta happened this past weekend, and I just had to get my time into it. Like, I had to download both the PS5 and the PS4 version of the game because I wanted to see how this game plays out. And of course, I want to play with the homies, but unfortunately I didn't get to play with the friends, with the fellas this past weekend. But I will say that I've dumped over 12 hours. I would say almost up to 16 hours of just playing the game, learning the mechanics, learning how to fly the aerial vehicles like the helicopter, the little bird, and the jet, and the transport chopper or jet, whatever you want to call it, which was a challenge. But I will say that overall, I did enjoy the beta. I did have fun. Now, if this was the final product of the game before the game released, then I would be very worried because there were a lot of issues that was happening within the game, and most of them were screen tearing, glitches like out the ass. Like, there was so many glitches everywhere. Your weapons, as you're putting your attachment on your weapons, and when you spawn back in, you would have to do it all over again. It worked for some weapons, it didn't work for others. The beta had problems. Like, it's no secret, but I would say overall I did enjoy my experience. I did have fun, and I don't feel like I'm gonna get scammed out of my money that I have put in for the game, and that's the $70 digital, because I'll be able to play on the PS5 and the PS4. Since both versions do not crossplay with each other, I have now both for the price of one, so that's a positive. But overall, the beta, I will say, here's what I liked about it. Of course, the sound, the visuals, love that about it. Like, the game looks very, very beautiful on the PS5 versus on the PS4. Because on the PS4 version, you will see some textures not being loaded properly, or some missing textures where it just doesn't feel like it's very refined or very detailed. Versus on the PS5, you can see all the detail of the vehicle models, character models, the environment. So visuals aside, I like that about it. The sound, didn't have any issues with it. I used my 7.1 headset, my Turtle Beach headset, and of course just regular noise canceling headphones to whenever I'm streaming to listen to the game, and I could hear footsteps from people. When you're in a closed environment and shots are going off, you can hear all of that as well. I also like the fact that when you're like walking or running on a platform, the haptic feedback that you get on the PS5, you'll be able to feel that. That part I like. Shooting rockets and then just feeling that, a little bit of a recoil on your controller, that felt nice as well. I do like how you can customize on the go, though I do have some concerns with the customization, because when you look at past Battlefield games, when it comes to their customization, you had your sights, your barrel, your muzzle, your underbarrel as well, and maybe stock, or maybe I'm thinking about other games, but for this one, it's just going to be 4. You have your barrel, your sight, your underbarrel, and I believe your magazine. So that's making me question, so what about other attachments like that we had back in previous Battlefield games, or is this just it? Like, I saw that on the assault rifles, the ones for the AK, it replaces like the laser beam and the foregrip are on the same category. So I'm guessing no attachments, no additional attachments. You're just only gonna have like 4 options compared to the past. You had, I would say, about maybe 5 or 6 options. Don't quote me on that one, but we had more options of attachments for our weapons versus this one. But I do like, customizing on the go. That I do like. I really like that part. The specializations, I don't know about the specialists, the characters that you pick. You have your assault, your medic, your recon, and your support, and I don't like it. I really don't like the specialists, because I feel like the most useless one out of the 4 is the medic, because what's the point of the medic being able to shoot somebody with a with a health gun or whatnot to heal people from a distance, when you could just throw down a med pack as a recon, as a engineer, as a assault, and that would be that. Like, and of course, all classes can revive people. And there's no difference in reviving, like there's no speed difference in reviving someone as a medic or the support, like the medic class is now support. There's no difference in like reviving someone in terms of speed. Usually if you are a medic, you're able to, res someone up really quickly. But compared to all the classes, like it's the same. So I'm just like, well, this class is kind of stupid and pointless. The only benefit is the fact that you can just heal yourself, but you have other classes where you can just throw down a med pack and then just call it a day. The assault class, I mean, it's pretty much the engineer class from Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, where you can use rockets, but you can also use rockets with all the other classes as well. Like, it just, like, the specialists do not make any sense. Like, I'm pretty sure that they've gotten these ideas from other battle royale games where instead of having classes, they have like your specialist, but at least for your specialists, make them specialize in this one category versus everyone can just do it. Like, hey, I can be a recon person and throw down ammo or med packs for people. Like, that is a support / medic role. Like that. Or if I want to go around and destroy vehicles and tanks and jets or whatnot, then then let that be the engineer class. Like, the engineer class can put up a turret. I feel like that should have been a support class. Because in previous games, and yes, I am going back to previous games like Battlefield 4, because that's the one Battlefield that I have invested over 500 hours in. Like, the support class for Battlefield 4 you had the mortar, you had the UCAV, you had the little air gun grenade launcher, whatever the hell it was. You had that. So why not give the turret to the support and leave the engineer class for fixing vehicles? Like, even the repair, like, most people are not going to pick the repair tool as an engineer, because it's like, what's the point? You want something offensive to go up against the enemy, especially if you're the kind of person that wants to blow up and destroy vehicles, tanks, and whatnot. Or in my instance, I like sniping people with the rocket launcher. That's just my thing. So now you're gonna make people pick and choose and decide, should I keep the repair? Should I go with the repair tool to repair vehicles, or just be like, ditch it, I'll just go with the rocket launcher? Like, come on. Like, the specialists, like, it just, I would say do away with it and just stick to the classes. Or at least make the specialists, like, one for each class. Like, hey, if you're gonna be engineer, you're there to fix shit and blow shit up. That's it. If you're recon, you're doing surveillance type of stuff. You're spotting enemies, you're telling people where they're at, and that's that. If you're gonna be assault, you're the guy that's going in there, just being on the front lines and making sure that, hey, if I'm gonna, secure a spot or whatnot, you're gonna need ammo, you're gonna need med packs or whatnot to heal yourself or your teammates. And if you're gonna be support, then yeah, like ammo and med packs for support, and of course give them other tools and resources that they'll be able to use on the battlefield to support everybody else. But these specialists don't make no fucking sense to me. That's just me. Like, it makes no sense. I don't get it. Like, it's stupid. And I feel like the most OP one would be the recon class, because you have a radar whenever someone gets really close to you. Like, you'll see it. It'll glow red when someone's like nearby you and whatnot, and you can get the drop on them before they get the drop on you. So imagine in a close quarter situation, you're gonna be so OP because you're gonna be like, oh, I know where this person's gonna come at. Like, I feel like when it comes to the specialist, as I said before, the medic, the support is useless, because what's the point? The assault, I get it, but still, like, give it something. Like, make the specialist like how you did with classes. like just individual. This is what you're doing. This is what you specialize in. You have your 2 tools that you can use, just like back in previous Battlefield games. You had 2 tools. An assault person had defibrillator, med pack. Engineer had a repair tool, rocket launcher, and then of course, swap it off and whatnot. The support class had C4 and ammo, and the recon had either the binos or a drone or C4 as well. Like, I feel like C4 should be universal. That, or in the game they call it C5, but C4, make it universal, so everyone's satisfied and happy and whatnot. There wasn't a lot of selection and variety when it comes to weapons. You had your SMGs, you had two assault rifles, you had 1 DMR, which was so good to use, 1 LMG, which if you put like a long range sight on it and you started shooting people from a distance, the game would kind of lag, or the frame rate would just completely take a hit. And of course, sniping, I mean, the rifle that you had to snipe was alright. It would take me at least 3 body shots to put somebody down, but when it came to headshots, 1 shot, they're done. And you had 1 shotgun, which I barely ran into anybody using shotguns. So that's that when it comes for the specialist. I mean, I would do something with them because it's just pointless. Like, I think all of them are just useless if everyone can use almost literally the same thing as everybody else. It's just kind of pointless. Like, what you had in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 worked. Just get the specialist, be like, hey, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's you. And you just have access to all these tools, which in later down the line content, you expand on it more, as you have done in previous Battlefield games, especially with 4. You expanded more on the tools that they could use later down the road. That's all I'm asking. That is all I am asking, because as it stands now, the specialists are just, what the hell? Seriously. Now, when it comes to vehicle play, I do have a gripe with that as well. The little bird is so damn overpowered. My God, like, most of the times that I would get killed, it's by the little bird. Very rarely is by the Apache or the Hind helicopter, the attack helicopter. It's usually the little bird, because the little bird shoots out rockets faster than the attack chopper. Like, much faster. Like, I'm getting rained down by this little bird that's just flying around in circles and shit. While the attack chopper, I mean, you can just, easily take that one down, same as the little bird. But at least with the little bird, like, nerf the hell out of the little bird, or at least speed up the fire rate of the attack chopper, because yeah, the attack chopper is just shot slow, but that little bird, bro, I was just getting messed up with it. Also, the flight controls. Is there any way that we can get legacy controls, flight controls? I understand that they've added a new feature when you're flying the aerial vehicles, where if you're the view of it, where you're not in the cockpit but you're in the outside third-person view, you can zoom in. Get rid of that. I'm just asking. Just get rid of that. Legacy controls, because how people were able to fly the helicopter and the jets back in previous games, that worked. Like, let's go with that versus this. But I get it. You're trying to bring a new way of playing the game for people to learn, because there were times where I got into a helicopter or that little transport jet and I just see people just crashing it, and I'm just like, yep, I'm back in Battlefield again. I am back in Battlefield yet again. Oh, you just love it. You love it. But yeah, flying sucks. Same with jet, sucks. I mean, at least with the jet, it's not as bad compared to the helicopters and the transport jet. The jet, not bad, but the transport and the other aerial vehicles, oh, bad. Now, when it comes to the ground vehicles, it's not bad. It's all right. I can tolerate that. I can tolerate being in a tank. There were matches where I was in a tank for literally the entire game, just sniping people, because that's the kind of scumbag that I am. I like to camp with the tank and push when I need to push, instead of just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna push in, and then I end up getting rocket on, or someone just comes around and just drops C5, or we're gonna call it C4 anyway, but they drop C5 and then just blow me up. And of course, I think it's what, 3 of those C5 that you have to throw onto a tank to completely have it out commissioned. It's no longer 2. Like, I should have kept it at 2. It worked in previous Battlefield games, and yes, I keep going back to previous because that's what I could lean on. Like, this is what they did right. This is what worked. Why change it on this one? Why change it? Why? The drive controls, like driving the Jeep, especially if you're going at full speed, be careful with your turns, because there were times where I'm just like, I'm spinning out of control. I'm just like, yo, they need to fine tune these controls or the handling of this, because this is ridiculous. This is nuts. But I fucks with it though. If it gets me a kill, hey, I'm fine with it. But there were some situations where I ended up, paying the price for it. And other situations where it benefit. But more so, I ended up paying the price for it. So at least fine tune the vehicles. That's all I'm asking. Primarily the Jeep. Just saying. So we covered Specialist. We covered the aerial and ground vehicles. We haven't covered the soldier gunplay, like the gunfights. How is that? As I said with LMG, the LMG that they have in the game, the only one that they got where it lags. Yeah, I stopped using LMGs because it was just like awful. Like, screw that. Don't even put an attachment onto it. But that DMR though, whoo! Headshot City. Oh man, did I love it. Like, it had very little recoil, and I'm just dropping people left and right. Mwah, I love the DMR, because usually in previous Battlefield games, I am trashed with the DMR, but it seems to work for me in this game, and I'm not knocking it. Don't change the DMR, keep it the way it is. Now, with the assault rifles, you got the M5A3, which it's a solid weapon. I've been dropping people with that weapon left and right. And of course, switching it to single fire to get people from far range. And then just that, oh man, that not having so much recoil on the weapon and you're just accurately getting your shots. Oh, I loved it. I was having a ball with it. Just, dropping people from mid to far range, just single burst. And if they got a little bit up close, I'm switching it to full auto. And, beautiful. Loved it. The AK, I ain't gonna lie, it was garbage at long range for me at best. Mid-range, it was like kind of 50-50. But I did hate the fact that every time I died and respawned, I had to put all my attachments back onto my AK again. Versus the M5A3, I didn't have to do that. And of course, other weapons as well. The SMGs, I believe the one before, I forgot the name of it. I think it's a Russian one. That shit was trash. But the K30, whoo! Up close, I am dropping you. Like, woof! I'm just dropping you. It's like the R99 from Apex Legends, but better. Much better. Very low recoil. I love it. Very low. But, yeah, man. I enjoyed the game. I had a blast playing it, and I can't wait for the full game. Now, I do know that this game the beta was an earlier build from previous months ago. So if this is what they were supposed to give us back in September for October's release, I can understand the reason why they delayed the game. But the game's delayed. This was an earlier build, and we just have to, hope and pray that when the game does come out, they fix all the bugs and issues that we were having. The screen tearing, the glitches, and all that. I mean, even Battlefield 4 has its glitches or whatnot every now and then, but as long as it wasn't game breaking, then I think we'll all be good. At least for the most part, it is playable, and you're able to have a good game for hours in and hours out. So that's all I got. I know I've rambled long enough in this video about it, so thank you guys for sticking around and hearing my thoughts on the beta. And yeah, can't wait to see you guys on the battlefield.